I started my MSP from scratch in 2008. I joined TMT in 2016 as a member. And I was growing the company, but also got bored. And I went to Rob and I was like, hey, can I coach for you? And so in January of 2021, I actually started coaching and started running the whole coaching program in January of 2022. So I have coached several thousands of MSPs at this point. And I have grown. I was 1.2 million when Aaron signed me up in 2016, and we're a little over 18 million dollars today, but pushing 20. We should hit 20 million at the end of this year. Just I've been there, done that, and the ones I'm going to be interviewing today has followed the path. I also teach the rapid implementation program that they go through to actually that 90 days of implementation there. So I want to bring on my first guest, JR. JR, come on, sir. Good to see you.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about you. What's your company? Where are you located?
Yeah. So Tigerhawk Technologies, we're in, we call it Tri-States. So Illinois, Missouri, and Iowa in that little corner. The best way I know to explain it is, remember the old "Do you hear me now" Verizon commercials? And they had this little white dot in the middle of the US. White dot.
That's where
That's where
you're
we
at.
are. Yeah, that's right where we're at.
Awesome. So JR, you went from 100% break fix when you joined TMT, no MRR, and now you're billing over 28,000 of MRR in contracts, and you really did it by following the blueprint that we laid out here at TMT. I guess my first question for you, you went from zero MRR, before TMT. What was your mindset? How did you get in the mindset to actually say, I'm just going to do this?
All right, so this starts in 2023 because we've been in TMT since I think July of last year, so just over a year now. So going into 2024, we understood what the market looked like, what the IT world looked like. MSP was the only way to make money. It was the only way to stay alive. We watched too many break fix companies die, and we want to be one of them. And so all right, we got to figure out what this MSP thing is. And so we spent 9 months to a year really trying to build it, figure it out, put our hands around it. I didn't want to rush in anything. We were cash positive, so I didn't want to rush it and fall on our face. So we figured out how it needed to look, what we needed to do. Brought our first MSP client on in also July of last year. And when we started talking about, okay, we have a good product, we have good people. We're following the three Ps. So what is it? How do we get this to market? And I looked at it just like anything else. If I'm going to have a security suite, why do I need a security suite? Why do I have one? Well, it's a tool that we're going to use. It's the same thing with any other tool set. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but I looked at TMT as a tool that we could use to go to market faster, to take what was going to take us 3 or 4 years to accomplish and do it in 90 days. And so that was kind of our mindset. I looked at three different options. All of them seemed to get you to the 20-yard line, and TMT was the one that was like, dude, we get people to the finish line all the time, right? We're making touchdowns, like we know how to get you there. And sure enough, they were right.
Yeah. So one of the things you did, we have the break fix the managed services campaign, and you did 25 of those, and you turned 24 of them in your TBRs and converted. Tell us about that. How did you do that?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time messing this up before I finally got good at it. I use a program called Audit. It's the simple red, green, yellow check boxes. I score companies, and my favorite was I went and saw a guy that this is a guy that he and I play golf once a month, so we're pretty familiar with each other. We know each other quite well. And I went and pitched him our MSP product, and I said, "This is what you ought to do." And he said, "No, I don't think we need to mess with this." And I said, "Okay," and I backed off of it. Well, then I go to Rapid, and I hear this Will Nobles guy speak, and now I'm sending him Tech Tip Tuesdays, and I'm sending him a newsletter. And I said, "Hey, we ought to do a technology business review and just do it right." And so we sat down, and before we got out of the meeting, he's like, "All right, I'm ready. Sign me up. All right, I'll get you the contract when I get back to the office." Like there was a lot of little things that I learned with Rapid, and then knowing how to convey that to people that helped out a lot. Learned a lot of that from Mr. Will. But it's just figuring out the little things that you need to have together so you can be efficient. You can speak common language, and you can get in, get out, get the job done.
Yeah. So you mentioned audit, and I see here that you converted 15 using audit, 15 to fully MSP clients. How did using audit change your sales process in that way?
Yeah, so I wasn't going in when I go talk to people. I'm not going in saying, "Hey, I've got the deal for you. Sign on the dotted line." Like that's not what I'm doing. When I go in, I go, "Hey, I'd like to give you a technology business review. I'd like to show you our perspective on your technology environment." And then I use audit, which is a great tool to be able to do that. Now, I did build our audit so that it makes us look really good. If you have our full Tigerhawk Complete, as we call it, package, then everything's going to be green. So I did customize it to really fit our mold. But yeah, going in and saying, "Hey, here's what you got. Here's the things we need to change. This is why we need to change it." That makes a huge difference. It makes it really easy because you're no longer sitting across the table trying to sell at them. You're now sitting on the same side of the table, and we're going to fix these problems together.
Yep. And one of the things I want to ask you that I know that you did, going through the rapid, I encourage you. You can fire clients, and sometimes it feels good firing a client. So you actually fired some clients through this process. What gave you the confidence to actually start doing
I would love to use cuss words right now, but yeah, I did fire
that?
clients, and boy, does it ever feel good. So, um, uh, having the base understanding that if your client does not respect technology, does not really want their technology, I'd rather have a pen and paper. They're not going to be a good client anyway. You're going to waste a lot of time. You're going to get really frustrated with them. Go invest your time into clients that are going to want you, not clients that don't want you. And so having that base understanding like finally sealed into my head. And so after that, I'm doing technology business reviews, and they're going, "This is way too expensive." And I go, "Hey, this is the way of the future. You guys are one click away from a ransomware, and I don't want to be liable for it. I would love to offload you to, or I don't use offload, but I'd love to introduce you to," and then fill in the blank. I've got a couple different break fix companies in the area that I'll introduce them to.
No. Okay. And guy, anyone on this call, if you have questions, we have a Q&A. You can post your questions in Q&A. Throw it in the chat as well. If you have questions for JR, as we're going through this process here. So JR, also we have the HIPAA campaign, and I know you focus on healthcare. My question is why that vertical, and then how did you launch that campaign to really start seeing results from that?
Yeah, so we accidentally stepped into the vertical, I guess. I'm sure everybody on this call goes, we have a lot of a specific vertical. Maybe, well, I just said maybe we should target that one. We're pretty good in the healthcare field. We have the four biggest nursing facilities in our area. We help out with some different clinics. We're getting ready to replace 900 computers at a medical group coming up, hopefully by the end of October. Fingers crossed. And so it just happened to be a field we were already strong in. Play to your strengths. Don't mess with your weaknesses, right? So it was a brainer for us. Let's start there. Let's focus there. Let's see what we can make happen on that. And so we took 2025 and we said we're going to target healthcare. That's if we're going to spend money, healthcare is where it's going to be at. We started making phone calls, procured a list, started making phone calls, and I had somebody else making the phone calls. Our CEO has this really great checklist for HIPAA. I know that it's a changing thing. He's really good at this. Can we get you that checklist, and can we go ahead and set up a time for the two of you to meet? He's going to give you 15 free minutes of his time, and we started working through that process. With that process, we were able to meet, I don't know, probably 6, 7 different healthcare facilities, have really great conversations with 3 of them. We're waiting on their contracts to expire next year, and by golly, they're going to be Tiger Hawk clients.
Awesome, awesome. So, with the people that are on here today listening to you talk and how you went from break fix to managed services and really going down that path forward, what's one piece of advice you could give them?
Do what Will says. No, I'm sorry. Uh, I tell you, especially when it comes to that break fix to managed services, break fix is you're going to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week and you're going to have very little to show for it. You're going to have those roller, and everybody who does break fix all the time, they're like, man, our finances are roller coasters. We're up big one month. We have to save because we know we're not going to be up big next one month. And so, yeah, I live that. I've done that. When you start getting into the MSP and when you get a taste of it, and then you see like, oh wow, I made payroll and it was easy this month. Like things are going easier. I paid off all my credit cards 3 months in a row. Wow, that was pretty impressive. So you start seeing these little increments along the way. We're up to about 45,000 MRR right now. And so yeah, it's a no brainer. Go to MSP route. It's pretty simple. There are some really nice Excel documents on the dashboard to help you with how your pricing should look. Start following the process, and then don't be afraid to get in front of it. That was the big thing. When we started our MS program, I wanted to make sure we had all our ducks in a row because I'm a tech guy. I want to think through everything before I do anything, which sounds great and it does really good in the tech world, but in the marketing world, it means you never ever accomplish anything. So start with something and start pushing it and start moving. Just get it going.